Good afternoon and welcome to the Standing Committee's meeting for Monday, May 18th, 2026. All council meetings will be live streamed on the city's website, and for guest speakers, please do not turn off your microphones. Our first order of business is roll call. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charland.
Here.
Mr. Coghill. Ms. Gross. Mr. Lavelle.
Here.
Mr. Mosley. Ms. Salanatra.
Here.
Ms. Warwick.
Here.
Mr. Wilson. Ms. Strasburger, Chair.
Here.
5 members present.
Thank you. Our next order of business is to amend the agenda. Can I have a motion to amend the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Our next order of business is public comment. I would like to remind all speakers that the rules of council state that comments are limited to matters of concern, official action, or deliberation which are or may be before city council, and profanity will not be permitted. Please state your name and neighborhood for the record. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Our first registered speaker is Dr. Ronald Lynn Miller.
Dr. Ronald Lynn Miller, downtown, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm the Global Intelligence Society candidate for president 2028. For those of you who are unaware of this, this is a nexus of individuals and institutions who are committed to the use of optimal information and intelligence in the formation of law at every level. It is an extension of the Center for Global Studies International Interdisciplinary, which I founded in 1999. What I did was to make connections with and inclusion in 21 primary disciplines, which include physics, astronomy, chemistry, history, geology, and so on. I do have a very firm commitment to the insinuation of science and scientific methodology into everything that we do. In other words, what is the evidence for something? One of the most important of the initiatives which I have sponsored and continue to sponsor is the initiative concerning the vote. And we heard people talk this morning about the importance of it. We hear people in the media generally talking about it, but KDKA, WPXI, and others, they do not really focus on the core problem. The core problem, as far as I'm concerned, is that our voters, our people, our citizens, are not able to check to make sure that their vote has not been misapplied or misplaced. When we have asked now thousands of people across the United States, do you want your vote to be lost? We have yet to find anybody who says yes. Do you want your vote to be applied to somebody that you don't think you voted for? When we put it in a crude sense, you think you voted for Trump and in 2024, and what happened was that your vote was transferred to or applied to Biden. There is almost hysteria when it comes to this. Now, our people who trust you as counselors to do something about that, to affirm the vote, are not, in my view, at all coming to terms with this core problem. I have put it to you many ways on many occasions, but as far as I can tell, not one of you, and not Mr. O'Connor, nor Mr. Gainey, be able to say, I checked, I made sure that I voted for myself if that was the case. In other words, you can't prove it. You can't even prove it for yourselves. If that's true, it means that the entire process is based on an empty, black, democratic, anti-democratic hole.
Thank you. Our next registered speaker is Chief Ikahana Halamakina. Not seeing Chief Ikahana Makina, we will move on to those in the audience wishing to speak. Are there any speakers in the audience wishing to approach a podium?
My name is Yvonne F. Brown. I live at 715 Mercer Street. That's the high rise at the top of Bedford with 192 apartments. As I told the young girls that were here today, I bring a sign because if you see something, you can remember. You hear it, you might forget it. But the way I feel, if I know it. Now here is my sign. I was listening this morning when Dr. Miller was talking, and I do want to tell you something. I've been to his center, and everyone should go. You should actually see the different rooms. It depends on what subject, the different color rooms. He has one room that he's done with stucco. It is beautiful. Stucco, I didn't know anything about that until I moved to California, where they put it on the outside of their buildings. And I can remember coming to California, and I was looking at the colors. Houses were bright yellow, orange. And they also do at the Christmas trees that summer at Christmas time. They put that stuff on it. It would be green or yellow trees. They had different colors, but that stucco would fall off. But the main reason why I tell you I keep coming down because you need to know the truth. And you need to know how we feel, not how you feel, because you may come from a different age. You could be older or younger, and I'm much older than you. You might not believe it because I move real fast and I talk kind of fast. But I want you to understand that I would come and tell you and have problems when Mr. Lavelle told me, Miss Brown, you keep talking about the bus system, you better go to county council. And when I went, you had DeWitt Watson, who is our councilman. When the president, Patrick, the one that they're talking about, they want to get rid of, when he said, we have a citizen that had a complaint, and should we write a letter to the bus company? Or then he said, oh, wait a minute, Mr. Watson, DeWitt, that's your will you write a letter? No, can't nobody come down here and tell me what they need in their neighborhood. I live across the street. I know what they need. They need security more than they need buses. But we have to take two buses down to the bottom two buses to get to the bottom of the hill. I want you to understand, Patrick, and his last name I can't pronounce correctly, should be president of council. And the only reason why, he walks the talk. When he walks, he does the same. He does what he says. When I went down there, he had said we have a problem for our citizens. And then I saw him actually sit through 100 people that had signed up. My time is up. Vote for Patrick, please. He cares about it.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, we will move on to our standing committee's agenda. Our first committee is the Finance and Law Committee. New papers, Bill 478.
Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Office of Management and Budget to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Richard King Mellon Foundation for the purpose of receiving grant funds in an amount not to exceed $25,000 for the economic development marketing by the mayor and the economic development team.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 478, please say aye.
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 Jeez.
Affirmative recommendation. Bill 479.
Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Meyer, Unkovic, and Scott for expert legal services for litigation filed in the Common Pleas Court of Allegheny County, amount not to exceed $18,420 over 1 year.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 479, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation.
Madam Chair, we read 489 and 490 together.
Certainly.
Bill 489, ordinance amending the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances, Title I, Administrative, Article 9, Boards, Commissions, and Authorities, Chapter 179D, Records Management Advisory Commission, by repealing Chapter 179D in its entirety, and Bill 490, ordinance amending the Pittsburgh City Code, Title I, Administrative, Article 5, Legislation, Chapter 154, Records Management Division, by adding a new section 15403, Records Retention Schedules.
Motion to approve?
Second discussion.
Discussion? Councilperson Charlin.
I believe we have our archivist here to talk about this.
At that entrance. Coming from the back, from the archives.
From the archives.
It's gonna be soon, I think. Nick Hartley, Records Management Manager, City Clerk's Office.
So Nick, I appreciate the email that you sent us, kind of giving us the heads up on what's going to be happening here. And I know you and your team put a lot of work and a lot of thought into this. Would you like to walk us through what we're looking at here?
Yeah. So the bills before us would allow us to put in place a mechanism to formally adopt records retention schedules. Retention schedule is just a list of all the records that a department either creates or receives, a description of them, and how long they're going to retain them. These do exist, but only informally, and so that creates a little bit of confusion. So this would allow us to create a manual that would describe a schedule for records common to all departments, and then a process, an approval form for departmental records retention schedules.
Awesome. Well, I know that other members, I'm seeing them kind of sit up here. I know they've got some questions, but I just want to thank you for putting, the thought into this. I can tell you, at least from my perspective, when I was moving from being a staffer to being a council member and trying to figure out what we're supposed to keep and what we need to get rid of, how challenging that was, and how helpful your team was. Just, we gave you everything and threw out a lot of it, but trying to make sure, we're not losing things, all the time. Really just appreciate your help and always appreciate your guidance there. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Further discussion? Councilwoman Gross.
Thank you, appreciate it. Nick, could you also kind of give the audience, I think, an overview of how far we've come? Because it's been a little while since we addressed the fact that, 10 years ago or so now, I think you were the first person hired, and to have in the city archivist role, and there's now a team, and so much records have not only been recovered, preserved, cataloged, but then there's made more publicly accessible. So maybe just give us a little background as well, so people understand what's happening here and what context
thank you. This whole effort kind of originated with the Commission on City Archives in 2012 or 2013. That led to the creation of the position you mentioned. And then in 2018, we created our Records Management Division. And at the time, we just changed the name and the makeup of the Commission on City Archives. And so that's this other piece of legislation. It's brought the effort up to a point, and now we're just trying to solidify our efforts to make sure that all departments have a records retention schedule. But yeah, those first couple years were heavily devoted to collecting. Pittsburgh's in a really unique situation in that we're very old, but we never started an archive. Our friends in Philadelphia, their archive was written into their charter in the 50s, so we had a lot of catching up to do. So those first couple years we're collecting. We've collected over 10,000 cubic feet of records, and we have a website where we allow the public to access a lot of that. We've digitized all of the city council, basically it's legislative record, legislation, meeting minutes, going back to 1816. So.
But also across other city departments too.
Yes.
So again, creating this kind of library of records didn't actually exist.
No, and
Right.
so far we launched our digital repository online, I think maybe 3 years ago. We have well over 1 million pages of records on there, and that effort just continues apace.
And I have to give a shout out to the previous city council person, Patrick Dowd, who sat in the seat, who was a PhD in history, who acknowledged that there was, the problem, the oversight of us not having a city archive. And I think he famously even took his staff down into basements of buildings that found boxes of records that were old and important that weren't, stored or even known about, right? And I'll acknowledge that this body as well had to deal with, in the lead crisis that PwC and the city experienced, again, almost 10 years ago now. There were no records of what material your water service laterals were. We even asked the city archivist, if you find maps with any records on it, and then literally disintegrating records were found and digitized at the time, but they were inadequate. We had to literally send camera crews out to every single household in the city and look at the pipe under the ground in front of your sidewalk. So that's a really concrete example. But it's been incredible to have all the histories and records secured that have been across the city in so many ways. And so I don't have the full text in front of me or open on my phone, but it's to create, basically put in our ordinances, because it isn't there, that just kind of understanding what you said, that there be an adopted schedule for records, or that the commission themselves how will it work?
We'll distribute a records retention manual, and in that manual it will include a citywide general schedule. So these would be records that most departments are likely to have in common, and then that manual will also describe the process to create a departmental records retention schedule.
And can you give me a general summary of what that process of departmental?
Basically, they'll work with us. We'll ask the department what records do you create or receive that kind of document your business functions, and then we generally don't tell departments how long to keep records unless we want to send them to the archives. It's usually kind of unwritten practice. They're very, very well aware of the requirements around records retention. So this will just enable us to have all of that information written down, so it's easier to pass to successive.
And then there's I suppose, a trigger in case departments completely change, because sometimes we restructure what our city departments are. As an example to the public, DOMI, which most of you have heard of, didn't used to exist 10 years ago. It was only DPW, and then DOMI was created. So there would be some going back to the commission, I guess, to figure out who's supposed to keep what.
So the commission will, under the, I think, 489, Bill 489, we would just eliminate that. And so anytime a schedule needs updated or, just reviewed by a new administration, it would just go through a 3-pronged approval process: department director, law department, and city clerk.
Great. Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Further discussion? Councilman Coghill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks for the work you do, Nick. I think it's very important to keep these records. So you said back to 1816? You have record of 1816?
Yes.
And Pittsburgh had a city council and a mayor in 1816? Was that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it in handwriting, or was it in...
Yes, 1816 through...
I would have fit right in back then,
The first 50, the first 50 years are handwritten.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Nick.
The first 50 years are handwritten, but we have all of it online.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting. I'd be interested in seeing, not old minutes. I don't know when to pour over old minutes, but just to see how they kept their records. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can give you a tour of our facility anytime.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah.
They were fighting about renter registry then.
Were they? We're probably building a public works division still. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Nick.
Any further discussion? All right. Seeing none,
Picture of me kind of ribbon.
all those in favor of bills 489 and 490, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Thank you very much for all your work.
With the EPA. You're kidding. I just saw.
That moves us on to invoices. Is there a motion on invoices?
No, I'm not expected.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of invoices, please say aye. Aye. Invoices are approved. That moves us on to P cards. Is there a motion on P cards?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of P cards, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. P cards are approved. That moves us to Public Safety and Wellness Committee, chaired by Councilman Coghill.
Bill 471, resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, and the Department of Public Safety to enter into an agreement or agreements with the National Association of County and City Health Officials for the purpose of receiving grant funds from the Post-Overdose Training and Trauma-Informed Practices, amount not to exceed $25,000 for training and support of the city's Office of Community Health and Safety.
A motion to approve, brief discussion.
Second.
Discussion? Councilman
I
Coghill.
really don't have any questions. I know Laura's here, though, in case anybody did, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So no comment from me, and I just wanted to open it up to anybody else in case they had something.
Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 471, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. That moves us to Public Works and Infrastructure Committee, chaired by Councilwoman Salinetro.
Deferred papers, Bill 300, resolution providing for the issuance of a warrant in favor of A. Felino Construction, Inc., in the amount of $481,320 for the purpose of emergency snow removal at various locations and providing for the payment of the cost thereof over 1 year.
Motion to approve. Discussion?
Second.
Discussion, Councilwoman?
We did receive some backup for the invoice, and I did forward it on to all members. And I really would prefer that John McClory, the director, be here to approve. What he saw matches what the invoice says. So I'd like to hold it for another week so that he's unable to be here today because of the celebration today for the Public Works Week. So he'll be here next week to discuss. So I'd like to hold it 1 week.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a 1 week hold for Bill 300, please say aye.
Aye.
Bill will be held 1 week. Thank you very much. That moves us to Bill 414.
Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of finance on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh to enter into an agreement or agreements or amendments thereto with various parties for the purpose of accessing city property while certain railroad crossings at Lockway East and Lockway West, Council District 7, are being upgraded or removed at no cost to the city.
Motion to approve. Discussion?
Second.
Second, discussion?
Yeah, can I need to make a motion to hold this for 2 weeks at the discretion of the council members area.
Second.
Second, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a 2 week hold on Bill 414, please say aye.
Aye.
This was a petition.
Bill will be held 2 weeks. That moves us to Bill 487.
Petition from the residents of the city of Pittsburgh requesting a public hearing before City Council regarding reopening Serpentine Drive in Shinley Park to cars. The Squirrel Hill Historical Society Board and the people signing this petition feel that this road was intended for vehicular traffic, including bikes, but not trucks, and not intended for pedestrians who have many nearby trails to walk on that go to the same places. Serpentine Drive is the only road on the eastern side of Shinley Park that keeps traffic inside the park instead of sending it on long, hazardous detours on nearby residential streets, including one that has no sidewalks. Except for the Panther Hollow Bridge, it is the only road that connects the north side of the park with the south side without forcing traffic to leave the park. It is also a safer connecting road to Oakland from the Greenfield Bridge. The petition is valid in accordance with the Home Rule Charter.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? I'll defer to Councilwoman, Councilmember Warwick, since this is her district, and then Councilman Wilson.
So I just wanted to say, I have some thoughts about the language in the petition, but there's another petition as well asking to have a public hearing this one came in a few days ago.
Okay.
At any rate, well, my question is, I guess, because my question is procedural. I'd like both hearings to be on the same, I mean, just have one hearing, basically. So should I hold this, or should I just motion for a public hearing and then wait till next week and motion for the next one?
Council President.
It doesn't matter the order. You can certainly pass this, hold it for a cablecast public hearing today.
Okay.
We can hold the one next week, and then we simply have to work with the clerk to make sure it fits your schedule so that we can hold them simultaneously.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, sorry, so motion to hold for public hearing.
Second.
Second, discussion? Councilman, thank you, yeah, Councilman Wilson.
At some point, I mean, it's not my district, and I don't know much about the subject. I just want, so process was really just a question I had. So this one was the same, like it showed up on our under the council president's, like receiving. This one also was like received
Correct.
as well.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's how this one started. Okay,
yeah.
so there's two petitions. One's like for cars and one's against.
Yep.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of cablecast public hearing for Bill 487, please say aye.
Aye.
Bill will be held for public hearing. New papers, Bill 459.
Resolution approving the recommendation made by the Director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure that the concrete portion of Elwell Street from Mirror Street to Pittsburgh city limits be paved with asphalt in accordance with Section 41706 of the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 459, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation, Bill 475.
Resolution authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh to enter into a cooperation agreement with Friends of the Riverfront for the repaving of Hazelwood Trail located between Blair Street and the Hot Metal Bridge. The estimated cost, preparation, and completion of work is $125,000.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 475, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation, Bill 476.
Resolution granting unto H.G. Blair LLC, their successors and assigns, the privilege and license to construct, maintain, and use at their own cost and expense new foundation footings below the sidewalk that will extend into the right-of-way at no cost to the city, 5th Ward, 6th Council District.
Motion to approve?
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 476, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation, Bill 477.
Resolution granting unto Almano LP, their successors and assigns, the privilege and license to construct, maintain, and use at their own cost and expense 4 new balconies that will extend into the right-of-way at no cost to the city, 15th Ward, 5th Council District.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 477, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation, Bill 482.
Resolution providing for a reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the preliminary design phase of the POGO Expansion Phase 3 project and providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $4 million, reimbursable at 80%, with Bike Share Pittsburgh providing $800,000 at no cost to the city, and the municipal share of Commonwealth incurred costs at a cost to the city not to exceed $0.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 482, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. That moves us to Human Resources Committee, chaired by Councilperson Charland.
New papers, Bill 470, resolution amending Resolution 116 of 2024, authorizing the mayor and the director of the Commission on Human Relations on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh to enter into a professional agreement and/or contract with MBM Law LLP to provide legal representation as a solicitor of the Commission on Human Relations and providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $125,000 for a new not to exceed amount of $165,000.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 470, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. That moves us to Land Use and Economic Development Committee, chaired by Councilman Wilson.
Bill 481, resolution approving a conditional use application under the Pittsburgh Code, Title IX, zoning, Article 5, Chapter 911, Section 91104A64, to Passport Academy Charter School applicant for authorization to operate a school, elementary or secondary use at 1835 Forbes Avenue, Block and Lot 11J56, zoned UPRB, Uptown Public Realm, District B, First Ward, District 6.
Motion to hold for cablecast public hearing.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of holding Bill 481 for a cablecast public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Bill will be held. That moves us to Recreation, Youth, and Senior Services Committee, chaired by Councilwoman Warwick.
New papers, Bill 480, resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, and the director of the Department of Parks and Recreation to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Richard King Mellon Foundation for the purpose of receiving grant funds in an amount not to exceed $630,000 for the city's United States of America's 250th anniversary celebration.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 480, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. That moves us to Intergovernmental and Educational Affairs Committee, chaired by Councilman Mosley.
Deferred papers, Bill 385, resolution adopting plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's official sewage facilities plan for 3634 Penn Avenue at no cost to the city.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Councilwoman Gross?
So I just want to, this is 385? Just
This
double
is,
checking.
yes.
Thank you. Yeah, so I want to thank everyone for holding this a couple of times. So I don't know if the planning department has received it, all of the completed planning permit documentation that they needed, but I know that's in the works. So I think we should just move it forward today. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 385, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Bill 412.
Resolution authorizing the Pittsburgh Land Bank to acquire all the city's right, title, and interest, if any, into the publicly owned properties in the 12th Ward, City of Pittsburgh, designated in the Deed Registry Office of Allegheny County as Block 125A, Lot 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 133, 0 Lincoln Avenue, and 0 Mayflower Street, District 9, at no cost to the city.
Motion to hold 4 weeks.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a 4-week hold for Bill 412, please say aye.
Aye.
Bill will be held 4 weeks. New papers, Bill 473.
Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant payable in favor of Pennsylvania Municipal League for 1-year subscription in an amount not to exceed $52,962.24.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 473, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Bill 474.
Resolution providing for a reimbursement agreement or agreements with Pittsburgh Water for costs associated with the Raise Grant project, where Pittsburgh Water will be responsible for paying 100% of the actual expenses involved in certain work, to be described in the agreements at an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 474, please say aye.
Aye.
Affirmative recommendation. Bill 483.
Resolution authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to enter into a cooperation agreement with Bike Share Pittsburgh to provide in-kind services and cash support totaling $800,000 as a local match for a City of Pittsburgh Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Program grant for POGO Expansion Phase 3, all at no cost to the city.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Councilmember Warwick.
Yeah, do we have speak to it? I just am curious about if we know where the expansion's going to be.
Hi, Eric Setzler, Chief Engineer, Department of Mobility and Infrastructure.
Yeah, so I know that this is the CMAC grant, and then Pogo's putting up the match. Do we know where the expansion is going to go yet, or is that still in the works?
There is a plan list for the expansion. So there's a plan for 40 additional stations and over 400 new bikes. I don't have that full list of stations with me right here, but I do have it. And when I get back to my computer, I could pass it along.
Okay, that'd be great.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Bill 483, please say aye. Aye. Affirmative recommendation. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
That exhausts our standing committee's agenda for today. We do have meeting announcements. Wednesday, May 20th at 1:30 p.m., Council will hold a cablecast post-agenda relative to flash crowd disturbances, chaired by Councilman Mosley. Next week, due to Memorial Day holiday, Council will hold its regular and standing committee meeting on Wednesday, May 27th at 10 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. respectively. To register to speak at these meetings, please fill out the sign-up form on the council meeting webpage by the deadlines. You may also call the clerk's office at 412-255-2138. Is there anything from members? As we all know, tomorrow is election day, thus the double council meeting day today, so I hope everyone gets out and votes. And with that, I'll take a motion to excuse the absent member, approve the minutes, and adjourn the meeting. So moved. All in favor? Aye. Meeting's adjourned.